Okay, we're going to cover the Jujigatami position, and we're going to go over the proper way to break the grip of your opponent when you have locked in on the Juji roll. So I'm on top of my opponent here. I've got the arm trapped. I just rolled him into Jujigatami position. Okay, I want to make sure that my feet are together. I don't necessarily have to cross my feet, but I want to keep my feet together. I got to have good pressure down on my opponent, both with the leg that's on his head as well as the leg that's on the body. So I'm pushing hard with my legs onto my opponent all the time. Okay, my hand, as I rolled, I had a nice high grip on my thigh. Okay, now the key to breaking this grip is to attack my opponent's wrist. Okay, what I mean by that is that I want to take my hand that's through, I want to bring that all the way up into his wrist. Okay, catching it here. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take his elbow, I'm going to slide it to the other side of my body. That exposes that wrist a little bit more. And then I'm going to grab, squeeze his wrist in between my hand here. I'm then going to take control and grab my own gi. Okay, very important that I grab my own gi. Now, once I've got that wrist secured and I've grabbed my own gi, I'm going to start leaning hard towards his head. Okay, so this is the arm that's closest to the head, has control. I'm going to start leaning here and then arching my back, okay, to straighten that arm out. At the same time, I'm going to use my other hand and I'm going to pop that hand off. Once that grip breaks, I'm securing with both, and I'm going to arch my hips off the floor as I pull my opponent's wrist down to my chest, and I'm going to arch back up. Okay, so correct position here is to maintain legs forward heavy and also pinch the knees at all times. Okay, that's going to create a little bit of pressure on this arm. Now, again, slide this across, work the hand up, control the wrist, grab your own gi, start to lean towards the head, take your other hand and push that explosively off, 2-on-1, elevate the hips, secure the Jujigatami. Okay, so that's the proper way to do that. Many times in this situation, the little things do matter and they're not done correctly. So in other words, a lot of times what I see is people are trying to attack and break this off by just grabbing their gi, but they're attacking the elbow. I don't have the right leverage here to break that off. If he's a very, very strong person, I'm not going to be able to get that off attacking the elbow joint. As soon as I come up and I attack this wrist, you can see that I can start to work on those hands. You can see how that starts to come off a heck of a lot easier. Okay, so we want to make sure that we don't slide down to the elbow joint. We want to attack up here at the wrist. That's common mistake number one. Okay, number two, a lot of times, even when people come down and they attack this wrist, they don't grab their gi. They kind of grab their own hands, or they're trying to pull like this. And again, this is my arms working against his arms. You want to get your whole body going into this movement because you need maximum pressure and maximum leverage in order to get it off. So we've got to make sure that we grab our own gi, okay, as opposed to just trying to pull this way, because I'm not going to get that off against a strong guy. All right, so that's number two. Make sure you're grabbing your own uniform. Okay, other common mistakes here. A lot of times people don't maintain the pressure with the legs. All right, so we might have done everything right here, but I don't have any pressure going, and sometimes I'm even sitting this way. If I'm sitting this way a little bit and I don't maintain pressure with those legs, he's able to sit up on top of me and roll, which takes me out of position and makes it a lot more difficult for me to get it. So I want to make sure that while I'm here, I'm always pressuring and I've got a little bit of lean going towards his head so that he can't sit up onto me. All right, so it's important that we maintain that pressure. Another mistake that gets made quite often is that the knees don't stay pinched together. So one of the escapes from Juji here is if my legs are apart, he can slip that elbow down and out. And I've got to make sure that that does not happen. All right, so the way I prevent that is I keep my knees pinched hard together, my feet are crossed or touching, and I pinch with the legs all the time. That prevents him from slipping that arm out. It's harder to get that arm out if I got proper pressure with my legs and I'm pinching the knees all the time. So make sure our legs don't get spread wide in this situation. So keep them squeezing together. Okay, so it's attack the wrist, it's grab the gi, it's maintain pressure, squeezing the knees together, pushing hard, and then attacking that wrist, pulling it off, and then I've got my Jujigatami, proper Juji. Okay? Also, one of the situations that sometimes happens is either when you rolled the guy over onto his back, he took control of your leg, or sometimes from this position, you're able to shrimp and pull that leg into position. One of the things you have to make sure you do is to keep your knee down. See, I've got my knee down on his belly. As soon as I sort of let that knee come out and my foot gets turned, he's gonna create a lot of space here, and he's gonna be able to slip that really easily. So what I do is if he feeds that leg in between, I always keep my toe down. See how my toe is pointed down towards the mat? I don't want to get it turned up. I want to turn it this way. That allows that knee to stay down on his chest, and it gives me enough pressure. I can still arm lock him from here, right here. All right? But you've got to maintain pressure down with that leg all the time in order to prevent him from slipping in on you. Okay, so basically, okay, we want to have these arms nice and tight to us. We're going to pull that to the opposite side. We're going to crawl up to the wrist. We're going to grab our own gi. We're going to pinch our knees and keep pressure all the time. We're going to lean towards the head. And we're going to pop that off. And then we're going to finish our Jujigatami. And that's kind of the Jujigatami position.